Hello students, I hope you have been looking into this module that is practicing imaginative sympathy. We have already seen two videos on it and we are going to the third video today. In this video, we are going to talk about the second exploration of why it is important to practice imaginative sympathy and to introduce this thing and to make it simple for you to understand what does it mean. We have some more good examples coming on our way. The second exploration talks about being able to map the human consequences of projects or decisions or actions on the lives of people rather than merely focusing on the execution or rollout. Don't be confused by looking at such a long heading. It's very simple. That whenever we are taking any sort of decision or whenever an authority is taking some action, the authority or any person has to think about the human consequences. Consequences means results. Usually, the negative results of the actions, decisions, or projects that are being undertaken by the authority or any other person. Now, what is the effect of these things, or what is the result of all these things on the human beings? So, for example, if government has taken a decision or some project is being undertaken by the government, and without thinking much they are focusing on the execution part, on completing their work, without thinking about what effect it would have or what will be the result of that particular project on the human beings. Okay, so whenever such decisions have to be made, it is very much important to keep imaginative sympathy and consequences of human beings in mind. Let's see through examples. See, example 3, because two examples we have already seen in the previous unit. Let us understand what this means with an example. Here are two marketing managers in front of you, and both of them are working in the same mobile service company. Okay, so one is Sudhir and another is Ravi. Now, let us see what is the approach of both these employees, both the marketing managers. We know very well what is the duty of marketing managers. Marketing managers' duty is to cover as much as market that they can, to increase the sales of their company, to bring more and more customers to the company, and bring, of course, lots and lots of profit, and that too in mobile service company. But we have to have a look at the approach of these employees. Approach, what does that mean? I have already told about approach in the offline sessions or some online sessions we already had. Approach is the way you look at the thing or the way you are going to act upon any kind of situation that is in front of you. So that is the approach. What is the approach of Sudhir? He is saying that we have expanded our market share by 10% this quarter. This quarter means in these 4 months, which is a good sign, right? Okay, 3 months. So it is a good sign that in these 3 months they have increased their sale or they have expanded their market 10%. And how many new subscription have they received? 2 million. Oh, that is too much. 20 lakh people. So 20 lakh people have started using their mobile service. Let's make it more exemplifying. Let's say that both of them are working in the company of Reliance, that is in the Geo mobile services. So if Sudhir is a marketing manager, he is very happy with the progress because in these 3 months they have found new subscribers, that are 20 lakh people have turned themselves or have started using their mobile services. They have shifted to Geo or may have started using Geo if they are the fresh users. And that's why the sell, or you can say the market coverage, has increased to 10%. So he is very happy and he is saying we have achieved our targets. But natural, he would be happy because whatever he had decided along with the team, he is able to fulfill that. Now look at the approach of Ravi. We have reached out to 2 million new customers. He is saying, Sudhir, 2 million new subscriptions. But Ravi is using the word 2 million new customers. That means he is pointing not on the number of people that are added, but he is pointing out the crowd, the people from various sectors or from various professions who have entered into their family of mobile service. So that are students, farmers, vegetable vendors, homemakers, and who not. So many more people in this country are now better connected to other parts of the world. See how is his approach? He is so happy because now 20 lakh more people will be able to connect themselves with the other parts of the world also. Not only the same country where they are living, but to the people who are living in the other country also. Our customizations have made our service more easy to use and useful to them. See, what is he thinking? That the customization, the changes, or something new that we have added to our services. What has it made? It has made it is very easy to use their mobile service, the way they are connecting with the people, and it is very useful to them. So he is very happy. No doubt he is happy with the progress that he has gained. He has gained 2 million new subscribers. They have reached 10% more market expansion. But his main focus of achievement is that so many people are using our mobile service. So many people have made their lives comfortable by using the services that we are providing them. So, what is the difference in their approach to the campaign? What is the focus of each? Now, if both of them have been given a task to do campaigning for increasing their service, Sudhir will always focus on adding new and new subscribers. And Ravi's focus would be to provide good service to make people understand that by using their mobile SIM cards or by using their mobile services, they are going to make their life easier. So obviously, both of them are going to target the audience, but from a different point of view. Now, there could be some problem with Sudhir because, from my personal experience, I have been knowing people who easily switch their mobile service companies as per the discounts or as per the uh, new schemes that are coming into existence. We always find that whenever a person changes their sim company or whenever they switch on to some other mobile services, they are given very good offers so that they can't resist but they do portability. So I know a person who was actually using Vodafone at a time, and then when he saw there are good offers available in Idea, he switched himself his service to Idea because new subscription was giving him 2 months free data usage. After these 2 months, he very quickly shifted to Geo because it was providing to its new user everyday 3 GB data usage for 1 month. So for people like this, it will be very easy to switch to different kinds of mobile services that are available. And people like Sudhir would be very happy if such kind of people who enter into their services and take advantage of their services, and this way they will be the member of their mobile services. But later on, what will happen? They will shift easily to some other company in the same way that they have shifted to the company of Sudhir. But if a person is doing campaigning from the approach of Ravi, he would focus that we must give such kind of service to our customers that they would rarely shift themselves or do portability of their mobile services to some other company. So that is the difference between both of them. I hope you understood this thing. We'll move ahead. So, looking at the part B of example 3, what do we learn? Sudhir is focused on the numbers or quantitative targets achieved in the execution and rollout. Whatever things that they have executed, their strategies, their planning, and the targets that they wanted to achieve, he is able to achieve that. That is acquiring new markets, users, and achieving certain targets, number of customers, market share, etc. And Ravi recognizes that the service is impacting the lives of human beings of different groups. He is not looking at these people as their subscribers, but he is looking at these people as the user of their mobile services who are benefiting from the services that are provided through his company. So he is able to appreciate the human consequences. Okay. After customization of their mobile services, Sudhir is looking at the expansion. He is looking at the targets achieved, whereas Ravi is looking at the benefits gained by the customer. So he is appreciating the human consequences, that is positive effects of their service, of their campaign on them, along with the number of new customers. So this shows that Ravi is practicing imaginative sympathy. So this is the difference between two marketing managers given over here. Some more examples. Let's see. What happens when we don't consider the human consequences of a project and only focus on the execution and rollout? Supposingly, you have done your part, you have executed whatever has been told by you, there has been a board directors meeting, and all of them have given their point of view, and the decision has been made. You had executed whatever has been told to you, but then what happens? You forgot to add human consequences. All of you sitting in that board meeting have never ever took any kind of effort in understanding what will be the result or what will come out of this through the point of view of human beings connected with it. The best example you can find is here. Example 4, Part A. A scheme implemented by the government. This is worth listening, so don't skip a word. The government set an ambitious target of building 65.82 lakh, yes, you heard it right, 65.82 lakh individual household toilets and 5 lakh community and public toilet seats. Okay, so this was the target of the ruling government, that they are going to help the poor families or people who are not having toilet in their houses to build individual household toilets outside their house or any of the space that is available in their house, and 5 lakh community or what we call public toilet seats, in our language we call it shauchalay, will be built. How much in number? 5 lakh. So this is a very huge target that had been undertaken, or a challenge that has been accepted by the government. In terms of time, as the mission crossed the halfway mark, over 30 lakh individual toilets and more than 2 lakh community toilets had been built. See, here exact number of days are not given, that in these many days, months or years that they are going to build these toilets, but yes, they were able to reach their half of the mission. Out of 65.82, they have reached 30 lakh individual toilets. So 30 lakh individual toilets were already built, and out of 5 lakh community and public toilet seats, 2 lakh community toilets were already built. The entire process or the task was still continuing, but they have reached their halfway mark. Many states have surpassed the targets they had set for themselves to build toilets. Okay, so there were certain states, let us say for example Gujarat. So Gujarat had decided that we will build out of 65 8.2 lakh, some 7 lakh individual household toilets will be built in Gujarat itself. But then, by looking at the success ratio, it happened that the government of that particular state was happy and it wanted to build more and more uh, individual seats or community toilets in their state. So the government was very happy. They saw this as a reason to celebrate. They were so happy. Wow, what a good progress we had done. This task that we have undertaken is reaching such good heights. So we must all celebrate. We must show this thing to people. We must advertise about this thing. Everyone should know about the progress that we are making, the efforts we are making, and the targets that we have set. And we are achieving more than the targets that we have set for ourselves. But here is the word, however. Let's see what is going contrast to this. They soon faced many challenges. Listen carefully the challenges. The first challenge was reports show that the existence of toilets at people's homes is no guarantee that they will actually use them. Just because you have built a toilet outside the house of a person who cannot afford it does not make it you to believe that this person is going to use this place for his daily nature's call. So, why so? Men around the country refused to use toilets because they felt it was only for women. Okay, so this is something that was divided on the basis of gender. So the masculine gender or the men used to believe the toilets are made for women. We will go out in the open and we will do our daily work that we want to do. We don't want to use toilets. So they felt that open defecation was a sign of virility. Means this is something that was tradition they are going to do, and that must continue. On the other hand, now supposingly men are thinking that this has been built for women, so let's women use it. But no, point of view of women is also something that is not acceptable. So women's groups were seen railing against the toilets. They saw it as a threat to their freedom to leave the house at least once a day. Okay, so there were many women who have gathered and they were railing against this toilet. What kind of rally was going on? They were saying that women were allowed to step out of their home only once in a day, and that was to attend nature's call. You might have seen in that movie, uh, Toileted Prem Katha, where early morning the women of the locality gather together in the morning at 5 a.m. or something. That is really quite early, the dawn time. And all of them in a group used to go behind the bushes and used to attend the nature's call. And when they did that, they never thought that they need a toilet. And when a toilet is given, what is the mentality of these women? They are thinking that whole day we used to sit in the house only. There was only one time in a day that we were allowed to go out of the house, and that was to attend nature's call. Now, just because you have built this toilet outside our home, what is happening? We can't go out of the house even for once in a day. So in this way, you are taking away the freedom from our hand by building toilets outside our house. Something that is seriously not digestible, but yes, it is true. These were the challenges that were faced by the government. Let's see. In this case, what was the focus of government? Only on the implementation or rollout. Just thought that we want to implement this thing. We want to build the toilets outside the houses or in the open at the public places. But there should be enough number of toilets in each area. So that was their intention. They missed mapping the human consequences of the initiative. Whatever initiative that you are making or whatever work you are doing, whatever targets you are achieving, but in that you missed the one part, and that part was human consequences. Whatever you're making, what will be the result of that on human beings? What will be the consequences, negative results by human beings? Example, people who are used to going to fields for defecation would resist using the toilets. Yes, those people who are used to going out in the open, even if you build toilet outside your home, they are going to go out in the open. Women feel their freedoms are getting affected by these measures. Look at these women, they are thinking that we had freedom to go out. Now our freedom is affected, we cannot go out. So after reading this example, I suddenly remembered that there was a TV commercial which was played on most of the channels, but it was initiated by our government for having Swachh Bharat. And I found that advertisement of you on YouTube and want to share that with you all. So please have a look at that advertisement, and this example will be made very clear to you after listening to that. So I'll just play it.
क्या बाइक ली है शर्मा ने, एकदम बढ़िया।
अरे चुप हो जाओ, चुप। हंस क्यों रहे हो? शर्मा जी के घर में टॉयलेट है, पर आदत नहीं है।
तरक्की की निशानी सिर्फ बाइक नहीं है जानी। शौच के लिए हमेशा शौचालय में जाएं, खुले में नहीं। शौचालय की आदत पक्की,
वही असली तरक्की।
एक कदम स्वच्छता की ओर।
Okay. So you might have learned from this advertisement that whatever was being said was completely true about these people. That even though one is ready to build.
मिश्रा, शुक्ला जी का नया टीवी आ रहा है। अरे वाह शुक्ला जी, तभी इतने चमक रहे हो हैं? कहाँ रखेंगे टीवी?
Even though one is ready to build toilets for them, still these people will be having this mentality of just using the outside place, the fields only to attend the nature's call. Let's move ahead again to our topic. Okay, part C. So the same thing is here. What could have changed in their approach if they had considered the human consequences? See, so much of investment had been done behind this. This is not their own money of the people who had taken decision, but the money belongs to the common people, the taxpayers, and that is being spent upon building such kind of toilets. But what's the use of building such kind of uh, infrastructure, such kind of places when the people for whom it is made are not ready to use it or not accepting such kind of culture? So this is just wastage of money. Had this government officials or the decision maker once had put in their mind the human consequences of what they are doing, today so much of money would not have been wasted. Otherwise, they could have made things turn in a different way. They could have enlightened people, could have educated them about the need for such kind of toilets, and once they were mentally prepared and were ready to accept this thing, only then would they have built such kind of things for them. So, coming to the conclusion, this is your question. Why is it important to think through and map the human consequences when taking decisions or actions, especially in execution of large projects? I wish and I hope you had learned a great deal from what we have done today in this exploration too. We will move on to new explorations in the next lecture. Till then, have a nice time and keep on reading.